It's the Cool Kids Halloween Special.
Welcome, ghosts and goblins, zombies, werewolves, and vampires, to this special Halloween edition of the Cool Kids Movie Reviews. Ooh. I am Noved the Conqueror from the year 3029, and I am joined by Spike Spiegel, Camp Counselor Deadmeat Jones, Dr. Loomis, and Michael Myers?
Does this motherfucker ever die?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy.
I probably got to ask the Akkads that.
Hi, Jack.
I would respond, but I know better than to respond.
Meh. But yeah, I'm not talking in that voice the whole time because that would get very old and tiring. But yeah, this is something new we are trying out. You know, we all love the Halloween season, and we talked about for a while about doing a special stream just talking about the season as a whole, like our favorite aspects of it, our traditions. So this isn't the typical movie review you see from us, since we aren't necessarily talking about movies yet. But got a whole bunch of topics picked out. So with that being said, let's get started with our first topic: favorite treats. So for me, like some of my favorite treats to get were always like some of my favorite candies. You know, I loved getting M&Ms, York peppermint patties, sweet tarts, nerds. There was someone in my dad's neighborhood who always gave out like popcorn and Hershey chips. Like those were always like my favorites, and you know they still are. Spike, what about you?
Well, at some of my favorite treats, I know that of course there's M&Ms, there's Twix, there's Reese's. I do remember when I was little, I used to go to my grandmother's house, and she would always make these little popcorn balls. She would actually make them; they're really good. But I would say that my favorite treat to get was nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger.
Mm.
Okay. What about you, Camp Counselor Jones?
Candy corn rocks. Fuck you if you disagree.
Ooh,
Oh!
my man!
Yeah,
He is a man of culture.
Exactly. Any kind of candy bar, obviously. I mean, anytime you, but I mean, you usually don't get the big ones. Sometimes you might, if you get lucky. But the minis are great, especially like the Snickers minis and shit, or any of the Hershey's miniatures. All those are fucking great. All of those are great. The Hershey's Hershey's dark chocolate, crackles, and whatever. All that shit. Yeah, candy corn is great. Thank you, Jack. Jack has spoken. And any of those are great. Candy corn, like I said, those are awesome. I even like the little pumpkins, Those things are great too. So yeah, those are great. So shit. There's hardly, I mean, like you say, let's get a little sweet tarts. Sweet tarts are great. Fucking love sweet tarts. Fucking love sweet tarts. Those things are great. It's nice and sour. I fucking love them. I would just love to take them and wrap them out the package and keep them all in one thing and just like eat them all at once. It's great. I just fucking love them. Skittles, of course. All of them. Shit. Who doesn't love candy? The only thing I don't like is licorice. Fuck licorice. Jesus Christ, it's awful.
Well, Twizzlers are good, but we're talking about black licorice. That shit's nasty.
Yeah.
I don't like licorice, period. Black licorice is especially vile.
Yeah.
Black licorice is especially. I don't even like Twizzlers, though. It's like,
Really?
It tastes like rubber. Yeah, I don't even like it, but they taste like rubber to me. It's like chewing rubber. I hate it.
What about you, Doctor?
Well, I always loved Twix. Twix was my go-to. For a while, I didn't like them. I don't know why. Maybe because I just never tried them. But Milky Way, eventually, I grew to love Milky Way. Reese's are good. Even the pumpkin Reese's are especially really good. What are some other ones? Like obviously M&Ms. I mean, now with so many flavors of M&Ms, there's like others that I like more than the original, like caramel and fudge brownie M&Ms. Those are really good.
Cookie dough.
Do they have cookie dough?
Oh, look, the cookie dough one is delicious.
I don't think I ever have that. I don't think I've ever had that one. But then there was but yeah, like I also liked Smarties. Smarties were a favorite of mine just because they were like I just would like have a handful and just eat them. Hershey's, love Hershey's. I mean, Skittles, Starburst. Starburst is really good. I'm surprised nobody said that yet. Yeah, like pretty much almost any. I don't know why sweet tarts are getting a lot of praise. Was never really big into sweet tarts. But in terms of Wonka stuff, Nerds are way better. Laffy Taffy is way better. I'd even take Everlasting Gobstoppers. Those are really good.
Oh, I love Gobstoppers. Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Gobstoppers are delicious.
They are.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, anything as Mark said. But for me specifically, I do like Twizzlers. I like Twizzlers, Red Vines. I like the pull and peel Twizzlers. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Those are great because it's gummies. It's gummies. Mark, if you haven't had those, you might like those. But those are really good. Again, the only thing like gummy bears, gummy worms, like Trolley. I recently got into those, but yeah, like any like pretty much I like anything without nuts. Almond Hershey's, nasty. Snickers, nasty. Baby Ruth, nasty. Mr. Goodbar, Payday, exactly. D's nuts. You can suck D's nuts because I don't want D's nuts in my candy. Fuck them.
He doesn't like nuts, guys. He doesn't like nuts in his mouth.
I don't. But yeah, but I don't. I don't anything with nuts. I'm not a fan. But like good old classic Hershey's, whether it's dark or milk, I prefer milk. But dark is also really great. Crunch. Oh my god, I remember I had a phase of Crunch bars. Crunch bars were great. Crackle is okay, but Crunch is far superior. But I'm pretty much open to anything, just without nuts. Don't give me nuts.
What about you? What about you, Mr. Myers?
Yeah, do you like nuts in your mouth? Our birds. Yeah, those are great.
Yes!
Skittles.
Woo!
That titanium oxide.
Okay,
Delicioso.
but for real though, like I love my Starburst. I love my Skittles. Every year the past few years, I always get these two bitches, one each.
Fucking Hershey's, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to get the Gobstoppers until they were fucking discontinued, which is some bullshit. Whichever company is that makes these candies, like seriously, I think they're discontinued. I can't find those bitches anywhere. Yeah. But I love Mike and Ike's. That's another one I love.
Oh yeah, Mike and Ike's underrated.
And any flavors. I love Mike and Ike's, except the sour ones. I can't have my sour candy makes my
Jack's the man.
They're too salty.
Especially sour Skittles. Those make my tongue bleed. Like, ugh.
I'm not the biggest into sour candy. It has to be like really good sour candy, like Trolley gummy worms.
I like
those are really good.
Sour Patch
I love
Kids.
sour candy.
Sour Patch Kids.
Hey,
are
can we give it
good,
up? Can we
but a
give it
little
up?
bit overrated.
Can we give it up for the original green coming back to Skittles, man?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Hot take.
Serious.
Hot take. I preferred green apple.
Oh, fuck you. Jesus. Phantom's on in for that shit.
Sure, why not?
And hey, the shape wins over Loomis again. I am victorious.
But he's back.
Lime isn't that much of a differentiation between lemon. Green apple's an actually different fucking flavor.
A shitty flavor.
All right, just remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is old. This is not old Loomis. This is new.
Yeah, I'm Loomis.
But for real though, like kind of going outside of candy, like I like to get chips too, like the Lay's stacked ones. I also get like
those can be
sour
good.
cream and onion, Cheetos, Cool Ranch.
Yeah, those can be
Also
good.
puffy Cheetos too. I like both crunchy and puffy.
I would like to give a shout out to alternate snacks, like not alternate treats, like as the shape just said. Chips were good. Like I would get Lay's every once in a while. Not much of an alternate, but king size. Obviously, if you're into like a nice rich neighborhood, you get the nice big king size candy. And then I remember I never liked them, but I remember caramel apples or candy apples. I could never bite into them. Like I feel like I'm breaking teeth. Like I feel the cavities rolling around in my mouth every time I try to have a candy or caramel apple. I prefer caramel if I had to have one of the two, but yeah.
I also like want to.
I kind of agree. They're too hard to bite.
Yeah.
I also want to like mention like drinks as well. Like
I
something
never got drinks.
something they've been doing the past few years. These Mountain Dew Voodoo mystery flavors. I started getting them every year pretty much since they started, and
Right.
I look forward to.
I've gotten
Anybody puts
drinks
that
before.
shit. I hate
There's
mystery
a,
flavors. Anybody puts that shit in my bag, I'm gonna get.
Speaking of
throw
mystery
back in their
flavors, Airheads. Airheads is another one.
Yes.
Yes.
Love
Yes.
me some Airheads.
Love it. Love
And,
Airheads.
And you know what, Zach? When you mentioned drinks, there's a house that would always give out the Tell me if you guys know what I'm talking about. They're the little hug 4-flavor team pack juice.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, the little hug fruit barrels.
Oh yes.
Oh,
yes, I do
fruit
know.
barrels.
What
Yeah,
you're
now
talking about.
I know. Yeah.
Mark and I have no idea what you're talking about.
I've never had them, but I do
You
know what you're talking
wine.
about.
These.
What about
Oh yeah. I like those.
you know what I miss? I don't see anymore. You know what I miss? I don't see anymore. Probably the way I'm going to say this. Only my boy Rob will get it here. Annihilators.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annihilators.
Oh yeah.
Annihilators.
Exactly.
My bad. I thought you said annihilators. No, I remember now.
I heard annihilators.
To me,
Annihilators.
again,
Everybody in the South says annihilators.
Annihilators.
I'm gonna get Phantom Zone for this, and I don't care. Now and later's, while good, they are the worst version of Starburst.
I can't comment. I can't Phantom Zone them because I've never had them.
Wait, you don't like
honestly?
Starburst?
When it comes to
No, I love
Starburst, the only
Starburst.
ones
Now and later's are like the discount version of Starburst.
Oh, I love now.
honest to God,
You fan of
honest to God,
Okay.
honest to God, when it comes to Starburst, the only ones I really eat are the orange and the red. Pig's good too.
What about strawberry?
Strawberry, the only Starburst flavor.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's pink.
What's Which one is
Are
strawberry?
you disrespecting
Strawberry.
Strawberry Starburst, Devin?
Who's Devin?
Because the last person who disrespected me went up in flames. Are you disrespecting me? Are you disrespecting the pink starburst? Don't disrespect the pink starburst. Novid.
Well, at least you said my name right. But yeah, does anyone have any ones they want to mention?
Jolly Rancher.
Yes.
Got
Oh,
that
Cuts
Jolly-
up the roof of your mouth, but they are delicious.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually, because of how I'm getting older, I gotta have the gummies now because it just cuts up the roof of my mouth too much, and they're just as good.
Oh,
You know
I
what?
thought- I'm sorry, go on. No, I was
Go
going to
ahead.
mention another one. I just forgot to mention Pop Rocks.
Go ahead. Oh
Pop
yeah,
Rocks,
those-
yes.
Pop Rock.
Yes,
Pop
Pop Rocks.
Yeah, Pop Rocks.
You know what I
Surprisingly
used to
good.
like as a kid? Cookie Rocks. I'm sorry. Go
Pixie
ahead.
sticks.
Yeah, because you remember the Fun Sticks? You know the one that came with like the 3-pack of like different sugar.
Yeah.
You had the stick with it. Yeah, the kid. Yeah, you ate it all.
Oh,
Oh God, I used to love those.
I
Oh,
can
those
never
are
get
awesome.
that again. I feel like it would fuck up my teeth too much.
Probably.
I know, but I still fucking love it. I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know
And
what else I
I
like?
never had a kid when I was a kid either. I had perfect fucking teeth.
What I like to do is like it's one of the most oddest combinations you may ever hear. Pepperoni pizza from Papa Murphy's and root beer floats. That's something we also do every Halloween.
Mm.
So want to move on to our next topic.
Mhm.
Best costumes.
Mm.
Right here, motherfuckers.
So for me, like some of my best costumes, I was Pinhead one year. I was Pinhead. That got a lot of good reactions. 4 years in a row, I was Michael. I was the Rob Zombie Michael, and I never broke character. Like I would never speak, and I would always I remember I would always chase down people if they said my name wrong. Like there was someone that looked over and said, hey, isn't that Jason? I just turned like and I just started walking after him. And one of my favorite memories in that costume was my little sister was 1 at the time. She was looking out the window. And keep in mind, I'm a giant. If nobody knows, I'm 6'3", and I'm just standing over her in this costume. She's like, she was about to start crying, and I had to take off the mask and just let her know it was me, just to calm her down.
You
But
fucking
I was
asshole.
I was Michael 4 years in a row. I was a plague doctor. Last year I was Baphomet.
Ooh.
Mm.
If I could do it, I would love to be a plague doctor, but I'm too fat.
I'm
Yeah, I can make it work.
Yeah.
Since Michael has to split soon. Michael, what about you?
I remember I was a ghost one time, like nothing too elaborate, just a sheet with holes cut out. And if I can speed run through some of the other ones, like my favorite tradition is just the trick or treating, the atmosphere, just seeing the decorations. I just love the atmosphere of Halloween. And my favorite memory of Halloween is actually last year. I was staying a couple of weeks with my sister up in Seattle. We went to a rave, went to a bunch of her friends' places, and they were all decorated up. And then we went and saw Halloween Ends on Halloween Day, which that was really awesome for me because I've never gotten to see a Halloween movie in theaters on Halloween Day. So that's something I've always wanted to do. So, and the rave was awesome too. It was a costumed rave, and I saw almost a perfectly screen accurate Art the Clown there, and it's like literally that as far as the height and the specific makeup, it was sweet. But yeah, best Halloween I ever had was last year. So So that's pretty much my rundown. I was planning to go into more detail, but I do have an event to go to because otherwise I was planning to stay for the whole stream. So sorry, I can't.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We're at least glad to have you on just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Remember, Loomis.
It's time.
It's
Michael.
time, Michael.
But yeah, this was a cool idea, and I hope y'all have fun. But yeah, I will see y'all on the flip side, guys.
All right,
All right.
later, Michael.
All right,
Later.
have fun,
Bye,
guys.
Michael.
Bye, Michael.
Michael.
Once again, Loomis overpowers the shape. And,
We just won't talk about every movie after Halloween 6. Oops.
Fair. What about you, Spike?
Some of my favorite costumes. Of course, I know when I was a little kid, I remember dressing up as I remember pirate. I remember Power Ranger. I remember being Spider-Man one year. But in terms of some of my other favorite costumes, and I guess we're going specifically by this holiday around this time because I go to a lot of cons and I do a lot of dress up in cosplay. But I mean but if we're talking specifically Halloween, I know I was one time like a zombie, and I remember just going around the whole neighborhood just scaring kids just for the hell of it. And it's just so much fun to do. I remember being like a wolf. I remember being like a killer clown, where pretty much you wear a mask and there's like a little tube where you could blow into it, where his eyes just bulge out and it plays like the psycho mute. And then I would have like a little butcher knife that would play like the psycho music kind of thing, just try to scare. It's just but I would say like some of those, and like I said, I remember even going around being like a wild crazy zombie kind of thing, just going around. I remember one time I was scaring these kids, and they were just like hiding in the van kind of thing because it looked so real to them. I had to take off the mask to make sure it was really me. That kind of thing. But I mean,
that means you're doing your job.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, what else are you supposed to do on Halloween? But yeah, those are some costumes that I remember wearing. I remember wearing a lot. So, yeah.
What about you, Loomis?
I would say my best costume that I did, because after a certain point, my parents were like, "Okay, we're not going to pay for your costumes anymore. Like we're not going to like go to Party City, figure it out yourself." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." So one year I had the whole makings for it, and I was in the middle of watching the show. I went as Dexter, like Dexter Morgan, and not Dexter's from Lab, but because I had like his like killer suit, which was like a thermal shirt, cargo pants, leather gloves, and boots. And as my candy bag, and I also had like a plastic knife. But as my candy bag, I used a garbage bag because I thought that fit with the aesthetic. So I think that's probably my best costume. Although, of course, since I was alive in 2008, of course I went as the Joker, because every fucking kid went as the fucking Joker in October of 2008. And then I would like when I was little, I also went as a Power Ranger. So you're not the only one, Spike. But I think I was the Blue Power Ranger. I don't even remember what show because I didn't really watch it like seriously. I like caught episodes every once in a blue moon. I was the Blue Power Ranger. That's all I remember. It wasn't like one of the OG costumes. It was from one of the bajillion spinoffs. I think it was like Dino Thunder or Raptor or something, or like I don't remember, but it was like an animal that I was. Then yeah, I also went as Michael Myers. I went when I was 13, But in order to like appear quote unquote scarier, I covered the entire mask in like fake blood, which I didn't really like because like it looked, but I was like a teenager. I was like, I want to be scary as shit, and this white mask isn't gonna scare anybody. So I just covered it in blood, and I kind of regretted it. But you know, I still enjoyed like being Michael. And then the last year I went trick-or-treating, it was memorable for all the wrong reasons, because what happened was I wanted to go as my final year of going trick-or-treating when I was 17 years old. I wanted to go as Marty McFly because at the time Back to the Future was my favorite movie. And that's like iconic. If you look at that, you see the fucking vest, you see the look, you see him riding the skateboard. It's iconic. So I was like telling my family, like, oh, I have shirts. I have like with like the 10 layers he wears. I have this shirt. I can go get like a denim jacket. I think that we have like a puffy vest in like downstairs somewhere. And I was explaining all this stuff, and my entire family was like, no. What? And they were like, yeah, no, that's no one's gonna know who you are. And I'm like, why? Because you're wearing normal clothes.
What?
You're wearing normal clothes. Marty McFly is one of the most iconic characters from the 1980s. It's not like I'm Joe Schmo from Friday the 13th Part 5 or some shit like that. I'm Marty motherfucking McFly.
I was just like, do people not watch Back to the Future?
So they were like, here, have this idea. So then I decided to go. This was my dad's idea, not a good idea. Decided I should be the Hulk, but in the middle of transforming into the Hulk. So I'm not like butt ass naked outside of like the purple shorts, but I'm not Bruce Banner. I'm in the middle. So I'm green, but my clothes are like torn. I bought cheap clothes from the store, and they like tore them up, and I looked horrible. It was so embarrassing, especially when my buddy that I went with, he was dressed up as Walter White, and he looked so good. He shaved his head, he grew the goatee, he groomed it really well, he got the glasses, he looked so good. And then another buddy of mine who was coming in at the last minute, he's like, yo, dude, what are you dressed as? He's like, I'm dressed as the Hulk. He's like, never mind. What are you dressed as? He's like, oh, I'm dressed as Walter White. He's like, okay. So he got a beanie, a really big hoodie, and he went as... So you had him and Jesse from Breaking Bad looking awesome as shit, and my fucking costume which looked like I went dumpster diving and threw on green paint on my face, especially when I couldn't see without my glasses. So I had to wear my glasses, which defeats the whole fucking point of the damn thing. So, you know, I'm still fucking pissed to this day that I conceded to that. Oh, and one more memory. The Halloween after Hurricane Sandy, I went as the 10th Doctor back when he was actually my favorite Doctor, which was a very long time ago. And 5 different people thought I was a businessman. Because nobody knows Doctor Who, so you know, what are you gonna do? I can go as Doctor Who, even though he's wearing regular clothes, but I can't go as Marty McFly.
That makes no sense.
Sure, why not?
That makes no fucking sense to me, but whatever.
That's stupid.
Really
stupid. Wait, hold on.
Think about that. That's just dumb.
What about you, Camp Counselor Jones?
Well, I actually have an old picture of me somewhere. I'm dressed in a cowboy costume when I was like a toddler or something. I also had, when I was about that age, I had the old 1970s Ben Cooper Batman costume.
The Ben Cooper mask.
Yes, here, share my screen. Here, I'm gonna. Share my screen for a minute. Fuck it.
So how about them Jets?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh my
That right
god!
Oh.
That's not me. That's not me. That's not me. But I mean, that's that's how it looked. Yeah. I had that
that's
whole
how
shit.
that's how the Ben Cooper costumes always looked.
Yep.
Woof.
Yep. There was a Superman.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I fucking love that thing though, man.
Those are like the kind of costumes, like cheap costumes you could find in like an old like drugstore back when they sold costumes.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there was a Superman one too.
Yeah, and I know there was a Superman one. I think there was a Spider-Man one.
Yep.
The Spider-Man one, I remember the
that
Spider-Man
matter.
one looking super cheap.
Yeah. But I had all that. My grandma, this wasn't one I just wore at Halloween. I wore it all the fucking time. For my cousin and I, who were like the same age as me, my grandmother sewed us some homemade Superman costumes, which they looked kind of like pajamas. They were like thick, like kind of like flannel, like flannel, and they were blue, and you had the cape and everything. Yeah, we had to tie the cape around her, and the blue shirt, blue pants, and it was really cool. We loved it, but my there was another year I went as a hobo. They used to have this local costume shop right here, Margaret's or something like that. And I remember one time my mother got me this hobo costume. I wore it like a couple years in a row, and I got like a lot of attention about it because I had like the gray face paint on me to look like 5 o'clock shadow and shit. It had a big cigar. It had the old hat, old raggedy hat and everything. Old shirt and everything with the padding and everything, and with suspenders and pants, So, I mean, it just looked like dead on and shit. So, I mean, like everybody loved it. But I think the best one ever is when I did the Grim Reaper. My older sister, who was very artistic, did my face paint. Looked like a skull and everything, and to my face paint. And I had the robe. I wish we got that same thing. The long black robe and his staff, and everything. So, but yeah, that was I think the most badass one I did. But I think my probably my favorite Halloween memory is well, not memory, but this is related to my favorite Halloween memory. One of mine. We have a separate topic for that. I know, but this was a costume. Well, this was a costume. Okay. Well, I'll save it for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. No. I know, because I know we're doing that separate topics. So I'll just save it for that.
I'm glad you brought up the Grim Reaper.
Yeah,
you were a Grim Reaper, because I dressed up as a Grim Reaper like constantly.
I know the thing. My girlfriend. I know she's making she made a Grim Reaper costume. So like she pretty much made it all by herself. Like she loves designing those, and I know that's what she's going to be for what she's going to be wearing for when we go over to her sister's house to pass out candy for Halloween. Although funny enough is I forgot to mention this, but I've got a scary costume for when I'm going to be like an evil clown. So because it's like we always have a theme. Like this year's evil circus.
And that's awesome, because I mean, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with skeletons.
Yeah,
like I just loved skeletons. I thought they were super cool. And this was a costume I wore all the time when I was very, very little. It is a Fun World green Skellebones.
Nice.
Yeah, these are by the same people that did the Ghostface mask. These are Unlimited Fun World. It had that vanilla scent. Yeah, I've been looking. I've actually been trying to find this mask, like a bigger version of the mask forever. It's very rare. It's very hard to come by. And if I ever got this in my room, that would be like a huge like nostalgia thing for me.
Yeah.
No, there's just something about the dressing up as a Grim Reaper that's actually really cool. One of two of my Grim Reaper costumes. One was the mask would change colors, and another one had wings. That was pretty badass, and that was like a we found that at Walmart too.
Devin, I've actually got I've actually sent a picture of what my girlfriend she looks like with the Grim Reaper costume. I sent it in the chat. So like if you ever want to pull it up on the stream or something.
Oh yeah, no problem.
This was recently. This was like at the Comic-Con we went to like a couple weeks ago, but I just thought I'd share it. So
how dare you?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What the? Why does Spike? Why does Ash look just like you? Spike and Ash Ketchum are twin brothers, ladies and gentlemen.
What a twist!
And the one that was the little skeleton, that's actually her son. So, yeah.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Anyone have any other costumes they want to bring up?
I don't think so. I remember I went as Spock one year when the 2009 movie came out, I think. I was also like various like kid ones. Like I was Woody from Toy Story. I was a little pumpkin. I was Winnie the Pooh. You know, I was like, you know, all that kind of classic stuff, I guess.
Nice. And going to our next topic, traditions.
Traditions.
So for me, a big tradition is I always go to my dad's neighborhood. I always go over to my dad's for Halloween. Because it's weird. There are some like communities or towns that don't do Halloween on October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like that for you guys too?
I do remember there's actually a fire station right near us that I remember it said trick or treat is happening this Sunday. I don't know why, but a little weird.
There's I think last Sunday and last year, since Halloween was on a Sunday last year. No, was it last year or the year before? Would have been the year before.
I'm pretty sure it's the year before because
the year before. Yeah. Anyway, the year before last, when Halloween was on a Sunday, a lot of places held it on around here held it on the 30th. You know, because I mean, this is such a religious community, like extremely religious community. You know,
it is.
People didn't want to, go trick or treating. Oh, that's the devil's thing, and shit.
Pussies.
I know on Lord's Day, on Sunday. So I mean,
oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Fucking.
But I mean, a lot of some people did do it on Halloween night anyway. It's just like some people are like, "Fuck it, hey, we're gonna get you anyway." So I mean, shit. I think we went both nights.
So my dad's town is one of the few places that actually has Halloween on, Halloween.
Yeah.
I always go over there because his town goes all out. Like the houses, the decorations, they look great. Everyone is out. Everyone is dressing up. There's a food truck. We have blow ups. A lot of cool decorations. So every Halloween, I just go over there. When I stop trick or treating, I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna dress up, and I'm gonna walk around y'all walk around with my brother, one of my friends, and we'll just shoot the shit, talk, and look at the decorations and scare people. And I usually do my brother, but my brother is deployed right now, so we aren't able to do that with him. But I did invite my sister-in-law, so we're gonna do that.
Mhm.
And of course, like horror movies. Of course, it's appropriate to watch horror movies in October. I mean, you can watch them anytime. To be fair. But what I started this last year. I do October Horror-thon where I want to watch a new horror movie I have not seen before. Like try like every day of the month. Sometimes I'll watch 2 a day. But yeah, those are some traditions for me. What about you, Spike?
I mean, if for traditions, I know that of course, I do watch a lot of scary movies. I mean, I don't watch like one a day like you do because I mean, I don't have a lot of time. But I do try to watch what I can. Of course, I know my brother, he always wants to go to like these little haunted attraction kind of things. And we go just so we can just like have a good time, even if I know that it doesn't scare me because I know the fact that they're not allowed to touch you. So, but I mean, it's still a fun thing we do. I know we went to like for the past few years. There's this place in Clinton where they have like 3 different attractions. There's like a hayride / trail kind of thing. It's like you ride around on the hayride and then it will stop you halfway and then you just walk the rest of the way kind of thing. There's a maze called the Darkness where you're pretty much going through this house like pitch black. Like honestly, the only way is to like kind of feel around the walls kind of thing. I know Ben hated that. So, and there was another one where we do get on like this double-decker bus and we do like zombie paintball. So, we're just like shooting a bunch of using paintball guns to shoot zombies. That's something we do. I know, as I mentioned before, I know I am going to go to this Halloween. I'll be starting a new tradition. I'll be going over to my girlfriend's sister's place because they always have like a big Halloween thing because they are really into Halloween. And one thing I remember used to do, and it's like when I was always when I was a kid and I would trick or treat or something. I used to go to my aunt's place because that was like one of her favorite holidays. I know she used to be dressed up as a witch and all, and she would have like a cauldron. She would have the makeup and the costume and everything. She would have like a steaming, boiling cauldron kind of thing, and she would pass out. I remember that when I was a kid. So, I mean, I know that's probably memories and all, and I'm sorry for getting ahead. So, but I was just, but yeah, those are things I do around Halloween. So.
Cool. Loomis?
So what I like to do is my family likes to go to a nearby pumpkin patch to get pumpkins every year. But that's more like an autumnal thing, not necessarily Halloween. I also try to watch horror movies every month. I do try to watch movies that are new to me, not necessarily ones I've seen already. So there is that. So I try to do that every year. Specifically on Halloween, I mean, obviously for the first 17 years of my life, I went trick-or-treating pretty much every year outside of one year I got in trouble in school, and then another Hurricane Sandy happened, so it kept getting delayed until like mid-November. So it was like, what's the point? So I skipped those years, but I love trick-or-treating for so long. And then but after that, I would just stay home and watch horror movies. I try to watch Halloween every year, because duh. And I just love doing that. I just love staying home and watching horror movies. This year, I am going to go to a friend's house, and we're just going to watch horror movies on the front porch while we give out candy. with like a group of us and enjoy each other's company and that sort of thing. So I'm definitely am excited for that. But yeah, I don't really do a ton of like traditions. I also like to put up the Halloween decorations. I try to do that every year. I just love doing it, and it's fun for me. I just really try to get into the spirit of the holiday as much as I can. So yeah, like I don't do a ton, but from what I do, I enjoy it, especially watching Halloween every year.
Nice. Camp Counselor Jones.
Hi.
Taking the kids trick or treating. That's always my favorite. I mean, that's
Oh, I'm staying here.
yeah. No, I mean that's we're talking about favorite traditions and just taking you guys trick or treating. We typically go to kind of some of the same neighborhoods. I mean, there is in particular in Hamlet. There's one we always go to where the intersection is two streets. Where like everybody goes there because there's these two houses like right at the corner of two streets, and it's like they're competing against each other every year to make like the biggest Halloween.
They've been slacking lately, though.
Yeah, they've been slacking lately, though. I mean, but like usually they're like badass. I remember it was like last year, a couple of years ago or so. Yeah, a couple of years ago they had like even one of them had like a haunted house, like you just walk right back behind their house. They had like sheets hung up, and you just walk right through it and everything. It was really cool. Yeah, of course they were both clinging to me, so I'm kind of dragging my grown ass daughter and my teenage son through this thing. So, and I'm like,
how do I blame this on my anxiety disorder? So how do I blame this on my anxiety disorder? That's why I don't like horror, anyways.
But I mean, yeah, taking the kids trick or treat is always fun. We always load up on candy, come back home, I'll pull the daddy card and they'll pay their daddy taxes, and we always pig out on candy and watch a horror movie.
Yeah. And
also there's the day after Halloween, loading up on the candy. It's all half off and everything. So
I do the big brother text with my youngest sister.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly. That's what Kaylee has started doing with Jack, the sissy tax. So
I gotcha. Camp Counselor Jones, I'm going I'm just curious, but like, were there any I know we've already talked about like costumes and all, but were there any like costumes that Jack or Kaylee wore? Like, you remember or maybe anything like that?
Well, there's one in particular that I want to say for the favorite memories. I will say about Jack though, there was the time a few years ago, it was like, I think it was like 10 or something. Because when he dressed as Jason from part 2. Specifically, he wanted to go with Jason from part 2. Here's my 10-year-old son. That's a Jason from part 2. Okay. I loved it. So I mean, it just shows the difference between my kids. Like Kaylee said, she was never like horror. She was always, too scared of horror. So, but like Jack, even from a young age, he did not care. He just thought it was cool. He's always loved horror. So I mean,
gotcha.
Yeah, he went as Jason from part 2. He had the the bag over his head. I think we just used like a bed sheet, like a pillowcase, and put over his head, out the eye hole and everything. And he had the flannel shirt and the overalls and everything. So yeah, it looked great. So, but there's another one I'm saying memories.
Okay. Well, we'll say
there is another tradition I'd like to say that I haven't been able to do it in a while, but I mean I do love a good haunted house. So I mean, those are fun. So
this is gonna be surprising. I mean, coming from me, never been a big into going to haunted attractions.
Really?
And the reason is, I don't like people just getting up in my face and jumping out at me.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
And this is going to lead into our next topic, memorable moments. There was a certain house in my dad's neighborhood that I was afraid to go to for a very long time. Like these guys went all there's a couple houses, but these guys went all out, like fake limbs hanging everywhere, bunch of animatronics, a guy on stilts walking around with a chainsaw.
Nice.
I would not want to go near that. I would not go near that house.
Yeah.
It was just in the daytime it's cool, but when they're out and about, holy shit, this is fucking scary. But now as an adult, I'm like, these guys are cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And there's another house they do a little maze. Because they have a big yard, they got a big fence, so people hiding behind the walls, walking around with chainsaws.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go near that house either.
Huh.
But I won't forget there was another Michael Myers in that maze, and I was Michael Myers, and I just stared at him. Like we were staring each other down, we were mimicking each other's movements.
And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. Sorry, I can't sing. I apologize.
It's like we were doing the head tilts and the. Yeah, that's a memorable moment. I know I'm probably the reason for this little girl's PTSD. Her mother walked up to me. He's like, "You see that little girl over there? That's my daughter. Can you scare her?" That I'm Michael. I can't talk. So she's walking out, and here I am, 6 foot tall me. And I'm just walking towards her. I should feel bad because I did like being scared as a kid, but it's fun. It's
the abuse of power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be a part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing about Halloween. Joining in on this spectacular fun. This is also a time of like memory and nostalgia.
Yeah.
Of all the times when you were a kid. That's another aspect of what I love about it so much. But I'm kind of jumping ahead. Spike, what's some memorable moments for you?
Some memorable moments. Of course, I do remember going like when I was trick or treating. I remember always going to like my aunt's neighborhood because the thing is that we lived out in the middle of nowhere, so there were like no kids that ever came our way. So if there were any kids trick-or-treating, it was just me and my brother. That's it. So there. But some other memorable moments. I can remember some moments of like you were talking about, like haunted attractions. I remember one time. We went, me, my dad, my uncle, one of my cousins, and Ben, we went to like this Ripley's, a haunted attraction in Myrtle Beach, and I remember just a lot of the fun we had. Being, of course, the guy with Michael Myers mask was like having a chainsaw and just chasing us outside to the balcony area, kind of thing. Those were always fun. I remember one year. There was one haunted attraction I remember going to with my mom, and I think right when we got outside, she pretty much I can't remember who, but it was like somebody tripped over her, and then we just kept running and didn't even notice, and yeah, she got kind of pissed about that. And like I said, I remember doing a lot of trick or treating. When I was little, I did mention about the story about how I was like a very scary, like zombie kind of person, just like wild zombie, and I scared these kids to the point where they pretty much locked themselves in the van so much, and I had to take off my mask because I looked like I traumatized them. Because it wasn't just the costume; I pretty much had makeup just to hide the skin and everything. Of course, those. I'm trying to think what else here. Not really much else. Maybe if there's another one coming to my mind, I'll I'll bring it up. So
nice, very nice. Samuel?
Well, it's tough for me to have like treasured memories. I mean, everything's memorable. I love like the Halloween in and of itself. I don't really have like a super like memorable like thing like in a costume or somebody's reaction to a costume. I will say like I liked it when people praise my creative costumes that I made by myself. Like I got so much love for Dexter. Like that was just I felt really proud of that. I also saw Halloween in theaters for the 35th anniversary with friends of mine, and that was really fun. Even though they were kind of making fun of the corniness, but you know what are you gonna do? But I really like doing that. Like that's I don't really have like a big like memory of. I mean, there were times when I went with friends. Like I remember, I think I was in first grade. I dressed up as Dash from The Incredibles, and I went with my friend, and he had this really cool mask that that was like it was like a skeleton mask, and but then it had like a plastic thing over it, and it would like pool blood. It would like sweat.
Oh,
blood
those!
with, like, yeah, okay, good. You know what I'm talking
like
about.
They have a little
like
pump.
yeah, you press like a button or like a pump, and then it looks like it's sweating blood. It was so cool. And
my brother had one of those costumes.
Oh yeah, it was really cool, and he kind of looked like the Grim Reaper a little bit. I liked dressing up as a lot of villains, and I always liked the reaction of getting like villains like Michael Myers. Like when I was walking over, and like this little girl and her dad were like, I think they were giving out candy or something, and he's like, whoa, look at this guy. And then she like was like backing away a little bit, but that was about it. And then there was another time where I went with another friend of mine. He brought like eggs with him to egg houses, but he put them in his pocket and all of them broke. And the thing is, I gave him my cell phone because I didn't have a pocket in my costume, so it got all over my cell phone. Luckily, it didn't break. Luckily, it was still okay because that was back when cell phones were actually kind of resilient. Remember that? It wasn't Nokia, but it was pretty good. But yeah, I just had to scrape some egg off, and luckily it was fine. I just found it to be really funny.
So a Nokia.
I said no, it was not a Nokia. It was a LG NV3. That was a great phone.
Oh, that's right. I fucking hate LG.
I had a QWERTY keyboard and everything. But yeah, that was a great phone actually, surprisingly. But yeah, like stuff like that. Like I don't have like I mean, and then I always have memories of like going to like the pumpkin patch and like decorating and all that stuff. So nothing like super memorable, but those are the ones that come to mind.
Cool, very cool. Camp Counselor Jones.
There's a lot of them. I remember one. My big sister taking me trick or treat when I was a kid. There's just one place they went all out, man. They had a dude in the front yard. He saw how scared I was. Like, oh, good, our next victim. He takes it and chops like he's chopping his head off. I was like, she's like, it's okay, come on. So there was another time when her husband at the time, my brother-in-law Dan, he took me to. He was going to the local community college. It was at the Richmond Community College. At the time, it was called Richmond Technical College. And they had a haunted house there, and like I think it was the cafeteria or something. And God, that place, they scared the shit out of me. I was a kid, man. And so there was another time when I was like a teenager. My mother and her friend and I, we went to this old small meat packing place in Rockingham, and imagine this old brick building, and they had this haunted house there. We went through there, man, that was great, and I wasn't nearly scared. I was just like, what a fucking rush, there was one room that's painted all black with a strobe light in there. There was a guy in the corner. You really could not see him at first either until he started moving and shit. It's like, holy shit. And there was another guy in like the basement and shit with like a chainsaw and shit. He comes at you and everything, and that was like a real rush. But I think my two favorite memories would be one when I was a teenager, and I think it was in high school or junior high or high school, and I dressed as the Grim Reaper. When at the church where we went to, I did the haunted house. We did the haunted house, and I came up with a lot of the ideas for it, And I was like the tour guide. I was as the Grim Reaper. I was like the tour guide through the haunted house. So that was like a really fun time. And I got like rave reviews for that and shit. So and my favorite one of all would be the time that Kaylee and I dressed as Dr. Frankenstein, and I was the monster. And she even had all the for me and everything. She had the lab coat and everything and the glasses, and it just looked incredible. So, I mean, it was so much fun. I had the torn clothes and everything, and, she had painted my skin green and everything, and it was so great. So, go get your sister. I want her to talk about that. But yeah, that was like my favorite one, though. It was just, just doing that with my kid, a lot. So, God, I forget how old she was at the time too.
Fucking balls.
Okay. Is your sister coming?
Yeah.
Okay. I forget how old she was. How old were you the time we did Dr. Frankenstein and the Monster?
8.
Oh yeah, she was 8 because it was before Jack was born, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah, she was like 7 or 8.
I think it was in first grade actually. So it might have been
Really,
7.
boy?
Yes. Big old cocks.
Oh God.
Can we finish the movie?
Well, after this. All right. What do you want to hurry for? You want to go to bed or something?
Oh.
But yeah, but she was like, this was right before Jack was born, so she was like 7 or 8 or something like that. Yeah. My kids, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah,
my dad would have memorable costumes like that. That jogs a memory. He would do like funny costumes.
Yeah.
Like one year he was a serial killer. He wore a box of Cheerios around his neck and covered it in fake blood and was carrying a hammer. Another one, he was a brain donor. He found the old scrubs he wore when he was in the hospital when we was witnessing, me and my siblings being fucking born. He had them in his like closet or something. He wore those, and then he wore like fake blood around his head, and then my mom at the store found a piece of cauliflower that looked like a brain, and then like covered it in blood and put it in like a glass container, and he would carry that around. Another year, my parents did a gender swap costume. My mom was a football player. My dad was a cheerleader. That still gives me that gives me. I probably still have PTSD from that. But what he did was he grabbed the long-haired wig that he had. He got he dressed himself in sweats, got a garbage bag, and then he had an old Bubba Gump hat, and he went as Forrest Gump, and he wore on his garbage bag, "Run, Forrest, Run." That was another really good one. I'm trying to think. Another one which was pretty good. It wasn't great, but he was a babysitter, and he was like just walking around in normal clothes, but he had like a I don't know what the name of it, like a baby carrier, but he laced it around his ass, so he was literally a babysitter. Like stupid, but that's like
gotta love the dad jokes.
Yeah, like it's just like stupid dad jokes. But I remember the brain donor and the serial killer were easily the best ones he did. But he probably did other better ones, but I can't think of them. But
I mean,
he was like a credit card. Yeah, he was also like a credit card thief where he would paste credit cards all over him, which was dumb, but
There was one really, really good memory I almost forgot about where a couple years ago where I did the escape mental patient, where I had to have a electric mask and everything. You guys remember that when I had the chains and all that. I actually went, to school dressed up like that. I went to work, teacher dressed up like that. And there's a little convenience store right by the school. I went in there that morning dressed like that. Scared the cashier out of her fucking wits. She was scared shitless, you could tell. And I didn't say a damn word. And her son was happened to be there, and he was in my class. He's like, no, mama, that's my teacher. That's my teacher. He just dressed up like that. So
I mean, I know. I can think of another memory that just coming. I know that my dad, even though he was not necessarily the biggest, he was not necessarily even though he wasn't the biggest fan of Halloween and horror in general. I know that he used to still, when I was a kid, he used to decorate the house with like spider webs and all, and he would go to the Party City and all. I remember one year he pretty much got it for the house. He pretty much got this little doorbell thing where every time you ring it, a spider just comes up right onto your finger, kind of thing. But it's, I mean, that's, I'd say that's pretty cool, Loomis, that, cause, like I said, when it came to trick-or-treating, my mom was always the one, because my dad was not a fan of horror, so he was not a big kind of thing.
And this is another one I just thought of, and it's kind of going back to the costume topic. We went on camping trips in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, during the fall, which fall scenery in Pennsylvania is beautiful, and it was Amish country. So this campground did like a trick-or-treating Halloween event, and I went around in 2 different costumes so I could get more candy. I don't remember what my first one was, but my second one, I mean, I was wearing a mask, so people didn't know it was me. My second costume, I went as a newspaper boy. I had a little cap, flannel shirt, and I walked around with a newspaper, saying, "Extra, give me candy." That one was a hit. And so we're down to 2 more.
Okay.
Favorite aspect of the holiday. For me, everything. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. I love the look. I love the scenery. I love the atmosphere. I like to live by the motto of every day is Halloween. This is the time where us weirdos get to really be ourselves. And the big thing that makes this so special. I mean, I decorate my room with masks and like horror shit. I'm always ready. Just like everything about it. I love dressing up. I love watching horror movies even more than usual. Fall. I love fall. I have a special Halloween playlist. It's filled with horror themes, but also like rock and metal songs that fit the spooky vibe. So I love doing that. What about you, Spike?
I mean, my favorite aspect, I mean, it's just as you said. I mean, I love dressing up. I do like just like the horror aspect. I love watching horror movies. Just that kind of feel. So, kind of thing. Yeah.
Loomis?
Yeah, horror movies are pretty much the biggest thing. Like, even though you can watch them year round, and I do, it just feels more special doing it in not even just October, but even in September. Like I feel like September, October, and even a bit of November, that in total feels like the Halloween season to me. Because it's just like that's because I want it to be more than just one day. I want it to be all year round, and maybe I'll try to live by the motto of, Halloween, every day should be Halloween. And I loved being I think it would. I like how you brought up the outcast, the weirdos. We get to be ourselves. That's like kind of what I was, but I didn't really realize as a kid. The reason I think I loved Halloween so much is because I got to be someone I wasn't. I got to dress up as someone who was cooler than me. I got to dress up as someone who was more awesome or more fun or more enjoyable to be than me. But then as I grew up, it was like, no, this is me, but different aspects of me. Like I'm doing something I enjoy. I'm doing something that dramatizes what I love to do, what I love about me. So even though as a kid I thought, "Lo, I like being, a Power Ranger because I'm cool and strong and I fight the bad guys and that kind of thing." So that even though that was kind of my mindset, like I'm not just boring John. I'm saving the galaxy with Captain James T. Kirk as First Officer Spock. Like that's what I kind of was. But then as I grew up, it's just like, no, I'm not pretending to be someone I'm not. I'm fully becoming me. And I really, really went into that as time went on. And now it's like, and now at this point I get to be me. And as you get older, as Mark would know, as being the oldest out of all of us, you stop giving a fuck what people think about you. And man, is it fucking freeing.
Yeah.
Because I've like talked about it with people at work, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching horror movies all the time. I watch this, and they kind of give me weird, hesitant stares. I'm like, fuck off. I get to do what I fucking want. I'm not a fucking corporate shill like you. Get the fuck out of here. So
Preach.
Yeah.
I get to be the fucking weird. I'm cool. I'm awesome. You know why? Because I'm the weird one. So I liked that. And I also love the cold weather. I love cold weather. I am a cold weather boy. I hate the summer. It's hot, it's buggy, it's soupy, it's gross. You know what? Even women in bikinis don't.
I was gonna say, just
bikinis can't make it up. Fuck that. Beaches, sand. I don't like sand. Anakin was right. Fuck sand. So you know what? Fuck that shit. I want cold weather. Give me cold weather. And so I love it even more that my favorite holiday and cold weather also go hand in hand, which is funny because I do hate Christmas, but that's beside the point. But yeah, cold weather, being me, and just watching horror movies. I love like that idea of the holiday, just being scary and being spoopy and not having to worry about anything else but my enjoyment of my life,
Couldn't have said it better myself. What about you, Camp Counselor Jones?
Like you said, just kind of everything. It's just the most fun holiday to me. So it's the one with the least pressure, And I mean, I love Thanksgiving because you get to eat, but at the same time, you got assholes in your asshole family members, and and shit. And, exactly. So Christmas is nothing but. Yeah, really. Christmas, especially once you get older and get kids, is nothing but pressure, because you got to get everybody gifts, get them the right gifts and all this. And it's just a whole month of nothing but fucking stress. And at some point, you're just ready for it to be over with. But I mean, like Halloween is just completely about the fun. You get to go treating, get to dress up. It's amazing, like you said about John said about when you get older, you just stop giving a fuck. You did the cycle you go through. When you're a kid, it's like, all right, you get to dress up. Then you get to be a teenager, it's like, oh, I'm too sophisticated for this. That's a kid's thing. Then you get to be an adult. You're like, then you get to be an adult and you're like, all right, you get to dress up.
I was gonna say, I know I go to whenever I go to a con, I always love dressing up. You guys have seen the pictures.
So I mean, like, I don't think you don't see as much of it anymore. So because of Comic Cons, have done a lot of that. So I mean, but I mean, back in the day, certainly, a lot of teenagers didn't want to dress up, but they wouldn't be caught dead dressing up because, they would have, you'd be thinking, oh, that's a kid's thing, but then you grow up and you're like, all right, I get to dress up, so I mean, so hold on, maybe I'm old as fuck, so shit, but
yeah,
it just, and plus as a dad, taking the kids trick or treat and sharing more memories with them and stuff, seeing them happy and everything. So it's just the most fun. Scary music, scary movies, I mean, great, man. It's the best thing. And I know they're definitely not just for Halloween, but still, I mean, it is just, and I love like my fellow fat brother John over here said, we fat folk are not made for hot weather. So fall is just kind of perfect. It's not too cold, like dead of winter. I mean, you're not freezing your balls off. You're not freezing your boys off. But I mean,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say summer is even worse here in the South. Right?
Oh, Tom, yeah.
Jones.
Exactly. Yeah, can confirm. Can confirm. Can definitely confirm.
And
speaking of scary surprises, my ex-wife is outside.
And with that being said, our last topic, and we'll run through these because we're an hour and 60 minutes in. We're a movie review channel. Favorite movies, specials to watch. So for me, easy. September is when I start watching Nightmare Before Christmas. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. Halloween, like the first 4 Halloween movies. I love watching those, even though I can watch those anytime I want. And I don't know what it is, but when you watch a black and white horror movie around this time of year, like a Universal monster movie or a silent movie, it's just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like it fits so well. I gotta watch a Universal monster movie this time of year. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is the 1931 Frankenstein.
Yes.
I gotta put that one on. Actually, I haven't put that one on yet. I might do that sometime.
Save it for the holiday. I think it'll make it even more special. Although for me, I do prefer Bride and Son, but that's just me.
Yeah,
Bride and Son are great. Yeah, Bride and Son are great.
Mm-hmm.
Spike, what about you?
Of course, some of my favorite movies I like to watch. Of course, I watch the original Halloween. Nightmare on Elm Street is one of, if not my favorite horror movie. Period. That I always love watching every year. Of course, Trick or Treat is awesome. In fact,
yes, Trick or Treat. I was
watching. Funny enough is that I think a few weeks ago or something, I was actually watching that with my girlfriend and her son. And I know that it's we just have a fun time watching it. In fact, she actually made a Sam costume for her son, which is really cool. In fact, when I even told her, when she asked me, hey, what's the next stream you're doing? And I was like, oh, we're doing a Halloween stream. We're going to be talking about traditions, da-da-da. One thing I forgot to mention is that she says, make sure you tell them one tradition, always never blow out the jack-o'-lantern until Halloween is over.
I never make jack-o'-lanterns, so I don't got to worry about that.
Me neither.
Because she was like, yes, if you watch Trick or Treat, always make sure to do that. That's something she wanted me to bring up, by the way.
How could I have forgotten to mention Trick or Treat? That's one of my favorite movies.
Trick or Treat's awesome. It's great. Yeah.
I should probably start watching that every year. Just because it is great. The only story I don't like is the one with Anna Paquin, but outside of that, it's really good. But yeah, Trick or Treat's great. Sorry, Spike, were you done?
I'm trying to think here. And then I guess in terms of specials, Halloween specials, I will watch maybe it'll be like a Nickelodeon special or something. I remember recently I watched Halloween specials of Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, ones like those. I think SpongeBob with Ben. Of course, I used to watch the Simpsons Treehouse 4 specials.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's too many of them to even keep up nowadays. But what are you gonna do? But I mean, those are just a handful. I don't want to hold everybody up because we got to get.
Rob, try this one on for size. Ghost Bride.
Yes.
Ghost Bride is awesome.
Ghost Bride, yes.
I don't even know what that is.
Hey Arnold.
Yeah, of course, Hey Arnold.
Loomis.
Halloween. I watch it every year. That's pretty much in terms of movies, that's pretty much the only thing I watch every year. I should start watching Trick or Treat every year. I just never remember it because it's newer. Like Halloween is like a classic. I understand Trick or Treat's a new classic, but like I don't really think of Trick or Treat because I've only seen it like once and I really liked it. It's really good, but I don't own it, and I just don't think of it. I just think of, Halloween. And as I said, I try to watch new movies every year. I don't really watch the same movies every year. I did for a couple years, but mainly it's new stuff. So I don't really have the same ones every year outside of Halloween. Halloween is the one thing. And then in terms of specials, to me, there's only two: Peanuts and Garfield. That's it. Nothing else matters.
Oh, I forgot about Peanuts.
Nice.
Yeah, great pumpkin.
You stole mine, damn it. I was gonna say, when I was a kid, I lived and died by, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I said the name, damn it. You didn't say the name. I lived and died by It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I just hate that. I hate that Apple bought all of those because I don't think that's fair. I mean, but the downside of the streaming era. So, but
I have it on DVD.
Yeah, I know. So I think I do somewhere. But that and like you said, Halloween, that's a must. Every Halloween season, got to watch Halloween. So got to rewatch that. So, I mean, and like you said, I mean, my politically challenged brother up here already mentioned the great Universal Monsters movies, Frankenstein, fucking love it, Bride and Son too. But I mean, the Wolfman, great. The Invisible Man is fucking adorable.
Yes.
That's great. That's
Here we go
great.
gathering nuts and May, nuts and May, nuts and May. Here we go gathering nuts and May on a cold and frosty morning.
It manages to be both disturbing and hilarious at the same time. And
He's
I love
so funny.
It really is. It's great.
That movie is hilarious.
His mind, it's always taxing on him. It's like, God, he's just so funny. It's fun to see him lose his mind, though. Claude Rains is a fucking genius, man. Those are all great. Creature of the Black Lagoon, another great one. So, The Blob. Shit, who doesn't love that? I mean,
The Blob, the most wholesome horror movie ever made. It's
seriously.
At least the original. I mean, both versions are excellent.
Yeah,
but the original, I didn't expect it to be so nice.
It really was.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Anyway, it's so wholesome. It's just it's the most wholesome horror movie ever made, and it's just there's so much charm and heart to it. God, I love I need to watch The Blob. Damn, I want to watch both Blobs again. Fuck, I love The Blob. That's such a great movie. It's so good. Even if
it really is. It really is. Yeah.
Even if Steve McQueen looks like he's 40, it's fine. Playing a 17-year-old, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. He's Steve fucking McQueen. Who cares?
He can do whatever the fuck he wants. It's fine.
Exactly. He's Steve fucking McQueen. He was in Bullet. God damn it.
He was in the Thomas Crown Affair, motherfucker.
Wasn't he in Great Escape?
He was in the Great Escape. Yeah, he was fantastic.
He was
too. Yeah.
Love Great Escape.
I haven't seen it.
Spike, come on, man.
But any other stuff you guys want to bring up?
I did want to ask you this, Mark, since you're the only, since you grew up in a far different era as opposed to the rest of us, since we didn't really deal with this, what was your experience in terms of tainted candy? Did you ever have to really worry about that? Did you razor blades or?
I remember that. Hey,
YouTubers are fags.
Kaylee, Teresa, you remember the whole tainted candy craze in the 80s?
All homosexuals.
That's my ex-wife.
Fuck each other.
Yeah, that was all bullshit. I remember that craze.
What?
Everybody was so fucking afraid of that shit.
What is that?
What?
What is this?
He's a single divorced dad.
That's my friend.
Since when did you become an alcoholic?
I'm not an alcoholic. It's
figure out I made him.
Okay.
Letting the children inside to drink.
Sorry, that was just
Razor blades hidden in Three Musketeers.
You're starting to look like Pam, by the way, with your hair. But no, I love the. But no, that was funny because I remember that whole craze. Everybody was so scared of tainted candy and shit.
Yeah,
razor blades or something. Weed. It's like I love the meme. It's like nobody's gonna waste their drugs on your fucking kid.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The only thing I can maybe see is razor blades because those are cheap. But why? Like I never understood it. But the thing is, I remember it was more so big in like the 70s and 80s than it was in today's world. Sure, you have like the still crazy people that are like, oh my God, look at the candy. But I never really had to deal with that. So I don't know. I was just curious for Mark, since he's the oldest one and probably remembers it when it was at its prime. Rob, maybe you remember it since you're again a little bit older than us, but but I don't know.
Since he brought that up, just look up Ronald Clark O'Brien.
Okay.
AKA the man who killed Halloween. He put potassium laced cyanide in pixie sticks.
The original Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, wouldn't that be that would be Dean Coral, but that's another beast.
Okay.
But yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we were able to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all love Halloween. We wanted to embrace the tradition and all the aspects that we love about it. So to anyone who watched the stream, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow for our live stream review of Five Nights at Freddy's, hosted by Dr. Loomis. Subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our individual channels, and always remember,
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding in even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Once again, we have brought darkness into the world. You're welcome.
Ha 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 ha!